inspired me was exactly as I explained before, that we had never seen him. We knew he was there, he was hidden. So Asimbonanga means we've never seen him.
Asimbonanga, Asimbonanga Mandela, Lape Kona, Lape Kona, Asimbonanga, Asimbonanga Mandela, Lape Kona, Lape Kona.
We've been talking about the loss of South African music legend Johnny Clegg, who died yesterday at the age of 66. With tomorrow being the anniversary of former President Nelson Mandela's birthday, and with July being Mandela Month, we thought it important to talk about the musician's relationship with Madiba. And with us in studio, we've got Luzuko Koti. He's from the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Luzuko, good to have you in, not under these circumstances, but good to have you in studio.
Good morning, and thank you for having us. It is indeed difficult times to be gathering again.
Yeah.
But, we have to deal with these things. And of course, as you say, the loss of someone like Johnny Clegg, particularly for the Nelson Mandela Foundation, it will be a very, very difficult loss to deal with, not just now, but for a very long time. He is someone Madiba would have referred to as a patriot. He was a South African of extraordinary character and personality. And I think all of us, and as you can see, the outpouring of love and messages and memory from all South Africans, particularly for his music, but also for his defiance of the apartheid system, to decide to sing about the struggle heroes of our time, or at least of our past, but also I think defying it from a cultural perspective, that when blacks and whites were not supposed to get together, he decided he was going to, in the face of that government, show them that there was nothing wrong with working, singing and living with people of different races and being one society. And I think he had that vision a long time ago.
He certainly did. I mean, let's talk about Asimbonanga, because this is a song, as we heard him explaining, it's like, I haven't seen him, and that was the reality, is that people, you knew about this man Nelson Mandela, but
Absolutely.
you never saw a photograph of him. You didn't know anything, so it was up to people to keep his legacy and what he believed in alive, and he was one of the people that did so. But I think one of the highlights, and everybody talks to this moment, when Johnny Clegg was performing, and he called it the magical moment of his career, when he was performing it, I think it was in Germany somewhere, and it was an African symposium, and he started singing the song, and to quote what Johnny Clegg was saying, he said, I was in the first verse of the chorus when the audience erupted, and I thought, wow, they know my song. But it wasn't. It was Mandela walking behind me on stage, and they started pointing behind me, and I didn't know, but he was a keynote speaker at that event, so it was just a magical moment. And as a songwriter, it was the pinnacle. You can only imagine.
And I think that can only talk to the characters, two characters of both men. Madiba, the kind of leader he was, very humble, person who was willing to reach out and use his name and his position in society to influence others. But also Johnny Clegg, who also was, almost resembling the similar characters and values of the men he looked up to for so many decades without even knowing him. And as you said earlier, many of us didn't know Madiba until he came out. In fact, some images we had were some adaptations of certain leaders from the past, because that's what people thought he looked like. But we were able to sing about Madiba, at least even before the songs, the struggle songs, freedom songs were unbanned. We were able to sing songs like Johnny Clegg's songs and many other songs as a way to, defy the system at the time. So I think he played his part, and I think he taught us how, when you believe in something, when you have a vision, when you have a dream of your own country, of your own people, you can stand up for it, and whatever comes your way, stand by your values, and I think he believed in that.
Quite incredible. I mean, when you think of an individual like Johnny Clegg, not even born in South Africa, and many people actually thought that he was. He was born, you know, on a farm in KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah.
That's not his story. I mean, in fact, he was actually born in England, and it was only when he was 15 years old that he actually came in and sort of embraced this and then met his great friend Charlie Mzila.
Yeah.
Let's sort of park that there, because I know that we could talk about this forever, but we don't have forever. We need to touch on Mandela Day, which of course is happening tomorrow. It's an international day. It's a massive day that people are hopefully going to go out and do good. So talk to us, what are the plans from the foundation's point of view?
I think just before we talk about that, also condolences to the family of Mama Nomhle Nkonyeni, another loss in South Africa. And I think it's important that as South Africans at this time, as we bow our heads and just, you know, take a pause and reflect on the lives of these icons, we take some lessons from their lives, and of course we inspire the next generations and use their extraordinary lives. About Mandela Day, I think we are excited that the world has really shown this kind of solidarity towards Mandela Day as an initiative. Madiba wanted this day to be used as a day to for us as the world to gather our strengths, our energies, our resources, and find those who need, those areas where there's a need for intervention, and do something about that. We talk about these things all the time, sometimes on social media, sometimes we throw, you know, messages of support, but what are we doing to fix it? And Mandela Day gives us that opportunity. We know that the world over, tomorrow is going to be the day, but I do think that as the foundation, our message is catching on that this has to be our way of life. We have to start thinking about how do we make sure that the efforts that we started 10 years ago, this is 10 years of Mandela Day, since Madiba said, use my birthday to impact others, but don't celebrate, don't make a party, don't make a big thing about it, don't give me cakes and gifts, but just use the day to do something good.
In my name.
10 years of that, we've learned lessons, we've seen what we can do, we've seen what we can do when we work together. Now what we are learning is that going forward, we must commit further to the next 10 years with specific things that we can do, but with much more vigor, and I think with intentions to be sustainable. Our interventions have to be sustainable, and that's the message we are sending as the Nelson Mandela Foundation.
All right, fantastic. I think, are we going to take a break right now? We are going to be taking a break. We'll get sports news after this. We don't want to steal too much time, but good luck for tomorrow. The foundation will be in?
So we'll be in Tsakane tomorrow, we'll be in Katlehong tomorrow. We're building houses with Habitat for Humanity. Excellent. We are also working with homes that look after the elderly, particularly those who will be celebrating their 101, because it is Madiba's 101st. So there are some of the elderly which we'll be celebrating with, and we're wishing them happy birthday tomorrow.
Fantastic. That's incredible. Luzuko Koti from the Nelson Mandela Foundation chatting to us about not only Johnny Clegg and the relationship he had with Madiba, but also a little bit more about the anniversary of Madiba's birthday. That's tomorrow. He would have been 101 years old. And of course, remember, it is Nelson Mandela Day. We'll take a break. When we return, we've got your news headlines for you. And then, of course, the sports. Stay tuned.